So, woman caste and reforms, first change in woman lifestyle and how all their barbaric practices in the lives of women changed. And for that, how the reformers work towards these changes that we have seen. Then, what are the barbaric practices in caste system? So that again, with the help of these reformers, they change. So we have seen this all. So again, we will have a look over on this and we will discuss the question answers from the worksheet. Okay. So this is the textbook what you have to read. We have read the content and that content is explained in easy words to us. So all these are the slides which we will have a quick overlook on this. In the last chapter, we learned that the British wanted to change the way society operated before they came. Recall that Mahatma Gandhi thought the British wanted to educate the locals so that they could enslave them. Rewind a few hundred years ago, the invaders of the time, the Mughals, the Aryans, wanted the locals, the people who were already living their work for them. So, if you keep this in mind now, who were Aryans? Huh? So, they are foreigners and they invaded. And when they invaded, they grabbed the piece of lands from the locals and they started treating those locals as the low caste people. Actually, it was not the means means it is not so they are from the low caste only because they lost their piece of land to Aryans they were treated as low caste. Huh? These local people were artisans, laborers, and peasants and were assimilated into conquerors' religion by making them subordinate to the conquerors. मग त्यांनी जिंकले ते piece of land and those already who are the owners of that piece of land, they made them the subordinates. Subordinates means for whom there will be some superior and they have to follow the orders of those superiors. So those are subordinates, we call them as. Namely, these were the lower caste in the Hinduism. In neither case, the conqueror, the British or Aryan, wanted to suppress who were already living in the invaded regions. People from lower caste were not allowed to trade or become priests, let alone be kings. So, this was the barbaric practice, we can say. Generation after generation, they were expected to continue the same profession that their forefathers belonged to. Means what they were, means their previous generation was doing, they have to do the same. They weren't allowed to study, be a part of governance, enter temples, bath, or even draw water from the common wells or river banks. They were not allowed to own land, the land that they had been living on in the first place. So these were all means you can say that all these are barbaric practices, yes or no. You can write it in chat box, yes or no. They are not the part of governance because they are only from lower caste. They cannot enter the temples. They cannot take the water from the wells or river banks. So these changes, the reformers made changes in all these practices. Some of these lower castes were considered untouchables, Atishudra, they were not to be touched. In fact, if their shadow fell on the people from the upper caste, the latter would be considered unclean and had to purify themselves by bathing. The Atishudra did jobs that were considered unclean. Those are unclean means they have given us the list. So, what were those unclean jobs? Grave workers, gutter cleaners, sewage cleaners, shoemakers. Since shoe were made of leather, which was made of dead animal skin, and a dead animal is unclean. So these are all type of dirty jobs which Atishudra people, those group of people were they doing. They were forced to do that. While Islam and Christianity did not have a caste system similar to the Hindus, there were still a lot of inequalities in those societies and they were accepted by those communities. So, compared means we are comparing here three religions Hindu, Muslim, and Christian. In Hindus, these practices were at means you can say to large extent where there is a difference between lower caste and upper caste, but it is not the case in Islam and Christianity. Those these practices were there in the caste system, but it was not so the case like Hindus. So this was not just true just of the Indian subcontinent. This pattern was seen in North America and Africa too. The only difference was that there the discrimination was based on the color of the skin. So in America, what was the practice? Why Africans were treated differently? It is only because of the color of the skin. Now here they have considered here men and women, and what are the three categories? They termed it as men as superior, and for women it is inferior. For men it is decision maker, woman the person who obeys, and for men who is the owner, and for woman it is subordinate. So this is the comparison between men and women, how the discrimination was based on the gender. So this was the inequality of gender. Okay. In India, girls or women were not allowed to go to the house without an accompanying man. Study or work outside the house was their opinion. Married off as children, not allowed to marry more than one man. Both Hindu and Muslim men could marry more than once. So this was the all these practices which were there present in those means we are talking here 200 to 300 years back. So in India, girls were not allowed to go to school, and this we have learned about the sati practice. Leave after their husband died, she was burnt alive in her husband's fire. This tradition was sati. Remarry after sati was abolished, and in subcultures that didn't practice sati. Just imagine being a woman from a lower caste, she would have to face the burdens of both groups. However, things began to change at the turn of the 18th century. Early 19th century onwards, as people were exposed to different thought processes, they began to think and form opinions. In India, the introduction of the printing press led to spreading the word through letters, newspapers, magazines, and leaflets. So, this idea of reformers, so this print media was the major contribution in spreading the words or spreading the reformic ideas. Some people from upper caste themselves found the ways of their families and friends quite wrong. They wanted to change things and form reform groups. So this is all about where we what the list of practices we learn, and this was the situation in 200 or 300 years back, and how those changed. Now this is working towards change. We are reading the under the heading this we are reading. Okay. Now next, this we talked about the caste system. They wanted to abolish truly barbaric practices such as sati, child marriage, fire walking, hook swinging, festivals. So all this we have discussed in the lesson one by one. Correct? So then next, interestingly, some reformers thought the Western way was better because the lower caste felt that once the British left, they would continue to be ill-treated by the upper castes. Changing the lives of widows. Now, if I directly move on to the question, would you be able to answer these questions? How did the knowledge of the ancient texts help the reformers promote new laws? So we have learned about Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Vidyasagar, Ishwarchand Vidyasagar. Then we learn about Periyar. We learn about Baba Sahib Ambedkar, Jyotirao Phule. So while they were making changes in the society, what was their main idea? The main idea to stop all these barbaric practices. And for that, which books they referred? They referred the ancient texts. And in ancient texts, what was mentioned in it? What was mentioned in the ancient texts? These practices should be followed or not followed? Are they you means humanic, you can say, or anti-human activities? Because we have learned in political science also that equality is the basic key feature of our constitution. So based on that, if you refer this or if you relate this, so do these practices should happen? No, it should not. So they those all reformers, they have taken the help of these ancient texts where they have not got the support of these barbaric practices. They were also not mentioned in the ancient texts. So they took the help of ancient texts and moved ahead. Whenever the reformers wished to challenge a practice that seemed harmful, They tried to find a reference in the ancient texts that supported their point of view. Correct? Then they would show that the harmful practice was not part of the early traditions. Since people wanted to follow everything in the ancient texts, this approach worked well to make some people change their ways. Okay. Now there is third question in your worksheet. What were the different reasons people had for not sending girls to school? So this is very easy answer. So first thing they were thinking that first major thing is safety of their safety, because they have to travel a lot. They have to go to the distant places to get the opportunity to get educated. So the first thing is their safety issues. Second thing, what it is that what was the belief of those days people? If girls were sent to school, they were become more powerful, more educated, and they will dominate the house, and they will start avoiding their domestic work duties, means whatever household works they may start ignoring those, or they may start avoiding those. So these are the 3 points which you should cover. People felt that if woman was educated, she would become a widow. People also felt that by going to the school, a girl would not do her domestic duties. They felt that traveling through public places to reach school would corrupt the girls. So these are the issues they were thinking of, and that is why they were not sending the girls to the school. So this is all about the second PPT of the lesson. Now I'm moving on to the third. Here the caste and social reforms. Here we have discussed about the temple entry, then about Jyotirao Phule, where he started Satyachodhak Samaj, and he also supported the education for girls. So here caste and social reforms, similar to the reform for women's right, reformers work for the rights of people from lower caste too. Ancient texts Buddhists were studied that oppose the caste system. Some reform castes chose bhakti to achieve salvation that did not discriminate by caste. Meetings at these centers did not adhere to segregation by caste. Schools were set up by reformers and Christian missionaries. At this time, the British East India Company was also establishing new cities. Demand for labor increased with an increased number of roads, buildings, and factories. Now, people started moving to cities because at that time cities were also developing, and there was a new opportunity of jobs for people in all these fields where they are needed for building roads, building factories, for cleaning gutters and sewages, for making shoes. So these were the new opportunities for people where they started migrating to the cities. This demand wasn't just during the building phase. The new cities required labor for maintenance too: sweepers, rack pickers, rickshaw pullers, etc. Many people from lower caste moved to cities to do these jobs. They were, after all, better paying than the income they earn in their villages. Traveled outside the subcontinent to the east and west. For plantation, also, they moved to the different parts of the world that we have learned. They have moved to Indonesia, Maldives, Africa, Europe, etc. Many people from lower caste joined the British Army. This was their way out of oppression and humiliation by upper caste. So this was the start of World War, where people from lower caste they joined the army, and that was the need of that, and we were supporting the British at that time by participating in army. So this was their way out of oppression and humiliation by upper caste. Now here they have talked about Jyotirao Phule, who called out the Brahmins and upper caste as outsiders because they were invaders. So that I have explained you in the first PPT itself. He also believed that people from the lower caste would continue to be mistreated even after independence from the British. Means what they were thinking, if we get the dependence from British, still we will not be having that much importance in the society, because again the Hindu will start treating them as a lower caste and they will start suppressing them. Now, this is the most important part. You have to remember about the book called Gulamgiri, where he wrote about the lower caste, their situation of lower caste in the history, and in India subcontinent to the slavery of African Americans in America. He compared these two situations. Huh? The situation of lower caste in India and Indian subcontinent to the slavery of African Americans in America. He has compared this. So his voice was against inequality. He was equally concerned with the oppression of women, including those who belonged to the upper caste. His ideas were taken forward by Dr. Ambedkar and E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar, where Dr. Ambedkar uh, has started the temple entry movement, and Ramaswamy Naikar, he also worked towards the equality because he has faced one situation where he was treated differently only because he is from lower caste when he was there present in the national conference. He was he was asked to sit differently. That was the major event that made him to change all these reforms. How did now based on this there is a question: how did Jyoti Rao, the reformer, justify their criticism of caste inequality in society? Now, this is the answer where what we are learning from the PPT 1. How did Jyoti Rao, the reformer, justify their criticism of caste inequality in society? So, what will you write? What will you write from the beginning as a part of this answer? I will just give you a hint. One word, that is Aryans, the invaders. So you have to write about that, and then you have to move further and develop his idea of inequality, what he faced, and then continue your answer. So, how did Jyoti Rao, the reformer, justify their criticism of caste inequality in society? So, first thing you have to write about the belief, correct? So, Jyoti Rao attacked the Brahmins' claim that they were superior as they were Aryans. So, this is the first point I told you. He argued that the Aryans were foreigners who came from outside the subcontinent and defeated the actual natives and landowners and started calling them low castes. So you got this. The main thing, main part of this answer is his belief who were Aryans, what they did, and how they treated the locals over there. Only because they attacked, they captured their lands. Actually, they were the foreigners. They were not having these all rights to treat them as low caste. But it happened. Unfortunately, it happened. So how this low caste was treated in those days, you have to write it about. Okay. How did Phule dedicated the book? Why did Phule dedicated his book Gulamgiri to the American movement to free slaves? Why did Phule dedicated his book Gulamgiri to American movement to free slaves? So note down the answer in your notebook, or you can write down the key points of this answer. Okay, so the first thing what we have discussed, Phule wanted to establish a link between the condition of the lower caste in India and the black slaves in America. So he compared the situation African in America and the lower caste people in Indian subcontinent. So this was the link he found. Next, he wanted to extend his criticism of this caste system to argue against all forms of inequality, including the miseries of the poor. Hmm? So because they were treated so badly, how their life was miserable. So he included that. He included all those inequality practices, and argued about it. Now, next, in the British period, what new opportunities opened up for people who came from caste that were regarded as low? So you have there are that is very easy answer. Read the question one more time and start thinking about the new opportunities. Because British came to India, what were the new opportunities? They didn't just come with them, whatever the things they carry along with them and how they ruled over here. So you have to write about that also. Huh? I know these are very big answers, but one by one, can you just tell me the key points? So, in the British period, there were many opportunities. With the British came his Christian missionaries who set up schools for lower caste and poor communities and gave them an opportunity for education, which was denied to them for many years. And as industrialization set in and cities developed, these people took up jobs as labor and factory workers. Correct? Some even went to work in British plantations abroad as it was an escape for them from their daily humiliation in Indian society. Correct? So this was the way, one way out where they can run from the situation, run away from the situation. So they will have a better life. And some untouchables got jobs in the British Army as they opened up special regiments for these groups. Example, the Mahar Regiment. So this is all about the lesson. Now I will share you the textbook with you. So this is Woman Caste and Reform. So what was the sati practice is mentioned here. So you have to write how it was abolished, who abolished this, who banned this. So you have to write then working towards changes, what were the practices in those days. So there are examples given. Uh, Early age the girls were married off, then a widow remarriage was not accepted by the society and they were not ready to send the girls to the school. So these were the things which they wanted to change. So you have to remember this year in 1929. It might be asked in MCQ. In 1929, sati practice was banned. So you have to remember this. Huh? These are the major events in our history. So then next, you have to learn about uh, Ishwarchand Vidyasagar, means who started the reform, means for he who helped out the girls for getting education, by giving the opportunities them to go to the schools and all. But for this, you have to remember it like this: these changes they don't occur in 1 day or 2 day. It is a struggle. It is a fight for a long period of time. Now next, Ishwarchand Vidyasagar, as I told you, it helped the girls to a large extent who can now go to school, get literate. Now women started writing magazines, storybooks. Now in the household, aristocratic Muslim household in North India, women learned to read the Quran in Arabic. They were taught by women who came home to teach. Some reformers, such as Mumtaz Ali, reinterpreted verses from the Quran to argue women's education. So, this was the change that is possible because girls are now educated. Now, women's write about women. So, they have written autobiographies also, their struggle. There is a story of Begum Rokaya Sukhawat. So, how he suffered to get means to get the access for education and all. Then Pandita Ramabai, how she helped out for the widows to take shelter. Pune. She founded a widows' home at Pune to provide shelter to widows who had been treated badly by their husbands. So this you have to remember. Then caste and social reforms, where we have to look what is the social reform because of uh, means there are how the movements changed because of Dr. Ambedkar and Jyotirao Phule, and what were the changes in the social things, means how the lower caste people also now got opportunities to go to the cities and get new jobs, and that way they can have the access for the better life. They can give a try for that. So then this might come for your this thing MCQ, where we had talked about Sri Narayan Guru. He believed in one caste, one religion, and one God for humankind. Okay, and we have discussed here about Gulamgiri. Okay, what the book is all about, which two situations Dr. Jyotirao Phule here compared, and what he want to highlight and which practices he want to abolish. Now, who could enter temples? Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar started the temple entry movement during the year 1927 to 1935. He had such three movements where he helped the untouchables because those were not allowed to enter the temple, those were not allowed to have water from their wells. Okay, and about E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar, the most important event happened in his life where he was asked to sit separately only based on its caste distinction. So this is the most life turning event in his life. Okay. So in the Congress party, he was allowed where it was a feast party, regular feast party. So where he was asked to sit differently because only because he is from the lower caste. So that changed his whole concept towards the reformation, and he also worked towards the reform. Okay. So I hope the lesson is clear to you. Very easy. If you just remember these three words, woman, caste, and reform, then the lesson will be easy for you. So actually the start of this lesson also you have to keep it in mind whenever you are thinking about any answer. Okay, because this is the start or this is the base which we want to change. So this base also you have to remember. Because of caste system, what were the practices during the Mughals? When Mughal entered India, what those changes or what those practices do happen at that time? You have to keep all this in mind. This is very helpful actually. Then who were subordinates? What was the comparison of men and women? That also you have to remember. Hmm? How women were treated compared to men. And in Hindu religion, the caste system was very deeply rooted, which was not the case in Islam and Christian community. So this all we learn.
If you like our videos, do share them and subscribe to our channel. If you want awesome quizzes, write to us. Keep watching and keep learning with Walnut.